Brighten up those dark mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lekter. Mornings at the cabin.
Just ever late? Wheeler, with you. Mornings at the cabin. Lekter has not shown up yet. He was feeling ill yesterday. Haven't heard anything from him as to whether or not he's going to come in today, but he may have slept through his alarm. So you can turn off now because it's just going to be me rambling into a microphone, possibly for the entire show. That's right. Have you ever woken up in the morning, you just had a song in your head, inexplicably? It's not something you've heard in a long time, just out of nowhere your brain's just like, hey, remember that song from the early 90s? Boom. There it is. And for some reason, it's Sting and Eric Clapton from the Lethal Weapon 3 soundtrack, It's Probably Me. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic song. I'll play it at some point this morning. I'm not going to play it after this break because that would go against the tradition that we have here at Mornings at the Cabin, that if we talk about something and then there's a song that's completely appropriate, we will not play it. That is our mandate. So that's been going through my head. I've sung it, I think 4 or 5 times to myself after getting upset with the dog this morning, and I feel bad because I didn't yell at her. I raised my voice a little bit though, because she was, I don't know, she was acting up a little bit. Well, she's not acting up. She's having trouble walking on the hardwood, and she's been fine for weeks and weeks and weeks. And just yesterday, just decided that, like, nope, I'm not going to walk on that floor anymore. Not even to get food. And instead of walking on it, I'm gonna whine. And I felt really bad. But I was like, come on, Betty. And I gave her one of those, and she got all scared. And now I feel like an ogre this morning. But we'll get more into that. Also, has your boss ever embarrassed you, like, really hard?
Mornings at the cabin, the podcast.
Lekter's favorite crash test dummies.
Can't get enough of those droning vocals. One. It was killed.
It's the monotoneness that makes it work.
Oh, work. Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Mornings at the Cabin, Wheeler and Lekter, who came in.
I was snorting into the mic.
You do it.
Hey, I'm the one who has a cold here. What's going on over there?
I don't know, but I just... Pardon me. You continue.
Sympathy boogers, I think. Is what's going on here. Okay. We'll be with you in a matter of minutes here. There we go.
Here we are.
Yeah. Stick the old Kleenex wad up the nostril. Good to go for the day.
Oh, the visuals are perfect. So I was telling you off the air, and I was telling everybody when we opened up here that I got angry with my dog this morning, and now I feel like a monster.
Oh.
So what happened? We have a hardwood laminate, or like laminate, or whatever you call it,
right?
In the house, and
slippery floor.
Yeah. And so she, as a puppy, we moved in there in August, and she had some trouble.
Yeah.
Moving around. Do I still have boogers?
No, you're good. I probably do. I think you're good.
So she had trouble. So she was freaking out a little bit, and she got the hang of it, and then didn't, and kind of got the hang of it, and then didn't. So we put out some carpets.
Yeah.
To kind of line the
gave her a little path.
Yeah, from the door into the bedroom.
Yeah. That's nice.
And there's a carpet in the living room, of course. And so we kind of did that, and I felt we were coddling her a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. So we kind of eventually just kind of slowly removed a couple of carpets at a time until there were no carpets left.
Right.
Or just a couple. And she got used to it for weeks. So since like November, she's been fine on the floor. And then yesterday, just decided that, I'm not good anymore. And I think, like, Phoenix made a good point. She's like, she may have slipped and, like, hurt her paw or, like, like, jammed a nail or something.
Right.
And so I took a look at her nails, and everything looks fine. She looks okay, and she wasn't like, I squeezed her paws and legs, and she seemed okay.
Yeah.
But she's just not doing it on the floor anymore. She'll stay on the carpet near her bowl, near the door. She'll stay on the carpet near the
just keeps
bedroom.
A wide berth from the slippery floors.
Just a wide berth, but the thing is, it's all slippery floor.
Yeah.
So this morning, or even last night as I was calling her to bed, which is usually what kind of gets her over that, because sometimes she'll act a little hesitant, but then still go.
Yeah.
And she was on the carpet, and I was calling her from bed, and she was just yelping. She was just like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." Like, I can't do it. So I put out some carpets. Put out some carpets, and she came to bed. And this morning, same deal. Even when I shook the food, like I was like, the food will get her, because that's always what gets her.
Right.
She's like, I shake the food, and she's like, oh, to hell with the floor. And so I shook the food, and she was just like, so she didn't come. So I put out a couple more carpets, and I gave her, come on, Betty. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. and then did that.
Always works for me.
Did that for a minute. I know. Come here, Lekter. And then gave her one of these, Betty, like the deep foot, Betty.
Yeah.
And and then came up next to her.
You're running out of chances.
Yeah, you're running out of chances. And I came up next to her, and she kind of gave the little, like she was a little afraid.
Yeah.
Of going out on the floor, so I gave her a little nudge with my foot, like not a kick, but just a little nudge, like come on, let's
tap.
go, just come on, and like I was gonna walk next to her and be like, come on, baby, come on, and like I had my hand on her, and all this.
Were you holding her paw?
All this coddling stuff, and she let out a yip, and so I was like, oh, whoa, like what's going on? She let out a yip, and then she peed on the carpet.
Oh no!
And then I gave her a Betty, and like I not screamed at her, but like I gave her a little like a louder voice.
Yeah, you brought out the bear voice.
And then she ducked into the bathroom and peed on that carpet.
Oh
and
no!
And at that point, Phoenix is up. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the dog." And I was washing my coffee cup, and I put it in the sink, and it fell into the sink, and it created a crack, and that's just ended it been. And I was like,
just chaos.
I was frustrated, and I slept 4 hours. And anyway,
oh my god,
yeah. So we got her out. I laid out the carpet again, and I was like with Phoenix, like, I don't want to lay out this carpet. I feel like that's not a good thing to do. We're going to teach her that, like, if she acts that way, we're going to give her what she wants.
Right.
And I mean, in this short term right now, because I have to be here by 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like, just put out the carpets, let her do it. And she got there. And so she was acting a little skittish of me. But then right before I left, we hugged it out.
Yeah.
And everything's okay. But she peed on 2 carpets.
It's not a great morning.
Not a great morning with the dog.
Betty.
Yeah.
Don't you love those moments when things are going a bit off the rails and then someone enters the situation out of context?
Yeah.
They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you're just like, it wasn't supposed to be this way.
It wasn't supposed to be this way. I didn't mean to get angry.
I was supposed to
I'm frustrated.
But everything
now I'm a monster.
Monster.
I think she'll be okay. She's oh god.
We're actually getting we're gonna get
a third dog?
No.
Oh.
God no.
A peacock.
No.
Scott, what's the best pet
I hear
you can
peacocks are
get? Hamsters.
Yeah, here for a good time, not a long time. There you go. Great for kids.
Great for kids. Absolutely.
Teaches them about dealing with
Well, there's so many foxes. There are plenty of them.
Yeah. No, we're thinking we're going to put Finnegan into obedience school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were thinking the same thing with Betty. Well, actually, I got the idea because the rough diamond dogs,
right?
They're starting the agility thing again. So they're taking registration. Now, that's more of an agility thing and like being active, but a lot that obedience comes with it.
Right.
So,
well, this way Betty will be able to dodge you when she pees on the carpet.
Absolutely.
Up!
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, no, we've just it's a final straw type of situation.
Oh no,
he doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't. He's so big.
He's a fantastic dog, nicest dog you could ever ask for.
Absolutely,
gets along with everyone and everything
except Jay,
he has ever met.
Gets along with nobody
because Jay is grumpy and runs the show.
Grumpy.
But yeah, he just doesn't listen. At the end of a walk, if he decides that, nope, I have not had enough, I'm going to take out, and then he just does his own thing.
Yeah.
I think it came to a head, on Sunday afternoon. We went out for cross-country ski, did the Burwash Trail.
You two are way too active.
I don't know what we're trying to prove, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's the walk to tuck. I think it's having a good influence on us.
That's good.
Yeah, so we got some walk to tuck hours in, did the Burwash Trail, and we were having a great time. It was a beautiful day. And then about like the last quarter of the trail, there was just a group of ravens ominously sitting around.
A murder.
Something.
A murder.
An unkindness.
I thought it was a murder.
That's crows.
Murder of crows?
Yeah.
Murder of ravens. Unkindness of crows.
Ravens.
An unkindness of crows.
That's the other way around.
Damn it.
Anyway, there was an unkindness gathered around something.
Yes.
Finnegan was like, I should probably go check that out. Tried to call him back. He was like, nope, gonna go see what these ravens are up to. Of course, they were gathered around some kind of carcass of something. Mm-hmm. And Finnegan spent the next hour or so ingesting a big chunk of it.
Oh, God.
He's had a rough go of it.
Yeah.
These past 2 days.
I bet.
Yeah. So has our bed.
Upset tummy?
Yeah.
Pooping?
So I think that was the final straw. Probably like the third or fourth or fifth final straw. We've had a few final straws to this point.
Yeah.
But
it's one of your babies. You have many a final straw.
Well, that's right. We want to give him the benefit of the doubt, right?
That's right.
He'll learn. He'll listen eventually.
No,
he won't.
he won't.
No, and we can't teach.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Obedience school for Betty and for Finn.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Same class, maybe.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Our dog is much smarter than you. I was going to ask if that is your feet or mine, but you have shoes on. So
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
a radio station. Which radio station is this? They got in trouble basically because they were having like fake radio expert infomercials about like financial stuff. So they would have, I think it was like was it pre-recorded? They would call in.
Yeah.
And basically the radio station having them on a regular basis is tantamount to them like supporting them.
Yeah.
And like having them be vetted. Or
yeah. It was a CBC article that came out, I feel like over the weekend maybe, but a few days ago anyway, where there is basically legal action being launched against, it's kind of a collection of five or more local radio stations in Southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Several owned by Chorus Entertainment and Bell Media. So they've been running basically infomercials with quote unquote experts who are, this one in particular, it was called Transatlantic Direct, and it was about something about foreign investments. Yeah. And there was an investment expert who was telling you how you should invest your money with Transatlantic Direct.
Just having a name like that makes it sound like what do you do?
Yeah,
like if the name is so vague that you're just like, what does that mean?
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is that like with regards to television, if you watch TV late at night at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you'll see on your TV guide, you'll just see blocks that say paid programming.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is infomercials.
Yes.
Basically, it's people trying to sell you products or sell you information. They're trying to sell you something, and basically they're giving money to the TV station. The TV station's like, well, we're not going to make money any other way during this time slot. So yeah, let's throw on your paid programming.
There are some infomercials that I absolutely love.
Oh, without a doubt.
The Midnight Special infomercials, where they're selling you the CDs of the Midnight Special.
So those are great.
Or the Dean Martin Celebrity Roasts.
Yes.
I used to watch that one all the time.
Yeah.
I used to stay up late and be like, oh, Dean Martin Celebrity Roast is coming on. Let's watch it.
Yeah. And you don't even need to watch the actual Celebrity Roast.
Not at all.
The infomercial is good enough.
It's the best part.
It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
But when it comes to radio, obviously you don't have a guide.
That's right.
A visual guide to click on what program you want to choose, right? So you're basically just kind of at the mercy of what the radio station decides to program for you to listen to.
And they were kind of they weren't making it clear that this was an infomercial. They were like, this is a guest on our show who's giving us financial advice.
Yes. And according to the story, they had several like regular radio hosts that were interviewing these quote unquote experts.
Yes.
And so that basically played into people's beliefs that, this is my favorite radio station. I trust them. I trust the programming that they put to air. And I wouldn't expect them. And these are big corporations, right? Like this isn't cabin radio.
That's right.
Might just throw anything at you and expect you to buy it.
That's which we do. We have merch for sale every day.
Yeah, we'll have to stop that a year from now when we get our CRTC license. But
once we get our CRTC license, we can just have fake experts on and be like, listen, your product is really great, and I trust it completely. Tell us more about how we can get your product. But I mean, that's not what's supposed to happen, is what you're saying. Is that's not what's supposed to happen during like the daily slots where where you're not making it clear that it's a commercial, and you have the host actually interacting with someone that they've paid, or someone that's paid to be there to advertise a product. Yeah, like you don't do that. You have advertisements, obviously, or maybe we'll do like a live read and be like, hey, this so and so sponsored the show today. Yeah, but we're not talking. For the most part, not talking to someone who's claiming to be an expert on something and saying, buy this person's product.
Right. That stands out as obviously an ad.
Yes.
In generally a standalone ad block where you hear a series of, 3 or 4 commercials in a row. Yeah. And there's nothing particularly misleading about that. I mean, like they can say things in the ad to obviously, make you interested in the product. Yeah. But it's not misleading in the way that it's an ad disguised as like a news program. Yes. Or an infotainment.
That's right. People have a lot of issues with that. Like sponsored content.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's kind of part of the game, but like when sponsored content gets disguised as like a news article.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
Yeah, and if it's not properly vetted, it can definitely be be a problem.
Yeah.
Especially when, in this regard, there are hosts that people, maybe have been listening to on the radio for their entire life. Who knows? And then they, have these people on who are basically shysters. Yeah, and selling this product, but they're playing along as though they're having them on their radio show and interviewing them about this great product that they know about. So this Tracy Conrad, who the story particularly focuses on, lost $15,000.
Good Lord!
After listening to so-called financial experts, and this was on a radio program in London, Ontario. But before I moved, actually my first radio gig was with CJOB in Winnipeg, a radio station.
And you were a fake expert.
And I was a fake expert, yes. My name was Dr. Jekyll. And I sold
Dr. Jekyll's Hideaway.
So I got a little experience with this whole
enough.
Scamming and radio.
Sorry,
thing.
keep going.
No, but one of my first, so I started out as a board op. You'd be operating the board for all the regular hosts, so they can focus on interviewing guests and stuff. It's a very common entry level radio position. So when I got my kind of first break and got to host the weekend morning show, I came in, and it starts at, I think it was 6 a.m. And so I came in about an hour early to prep the show. And what they would run at that time at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning was one of these fake infomercials. And it was always the same guy. It was always Dr. And I wish I could remember his name. It was like Dr. Pinkerton or something like that. And he just he was this outrageous character, and he'd always be talking about, these amazing creams that you could buy through him. And they would have someone, a normal sounding host interviewing them and being like, "Oh my God, Dr. Pinkerton, that's amazing.
That's incredible. I put lavender on my cancer and it went away."
And I remember prepping my show and listening to this kind of at the same time and just being like, What is going on? What am I doing here? Or is this for real? And so I mean, it's a very real situation. I always just kind of assume that no one actually listened to those or paid them any attention.
No, they
but
do.
Here we go.
They do.
We have information to the contrary.
That's why we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to be like as clear and as forthright as possible with people. And that's sticky. But I mean, it also speaks to like just how desperate radio stations are for any content that people are willing to pay for.
Yeah.
So that's really horrible that she lost all that money. Hopefully she can get some of that back.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would probably be like, well, she buyer beware. It's like, well, again, that's where the radio station comes in. It's like, you're not properly vetting things and people trust you to give them information. You know what I mean?
You're taking advantage of them.
Sure. Like if for whatever reason, like in the last couple of weeks, Ollie has obviously garnered a lot of trust with people. And but if we took advantage of that and said like, oh, Ollie endorses this.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to explode in your home, that would be bad.
That'd be bad. Yeah.
That'd be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Or just have, I think we're going to start a new thing when Ollie gets back, Dr. Ollie's Hideaway or Dr. Ollie's Corner. It'll just be Ollie's being like, you know what? Just rub some peanut butter on it.
Ollie's Home Surprise Explosives.
It's peanut butter.
You can't say it's not as advertised.
A morning show without a podcast is like a poorly crafted simile. It just doesn't make sense. This is the Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
I wanted to talk about earworms because I was talking about this when I opened up the show that like I had a song stuck in my head as soon as I woke up. I was just like, it felt as soon as I woke up, I was singing it. It was like, it's probably me. And I've been singing it in my head the entire morning.
What song?
It's called It's Probably Me. It's from the Lethal Weapon 4 soundtrack. I said Lethal Weapon 3 earlier like an idiot. But Lethal Weapon 4 soundtrack. It's a Sting song. Eric Clapton plays guitar in the background. Basically what they did is that, you know what Lethal Weapon's music sounds like?
Yeah. Yeah. Very 80s cop film.
Oh, yeah. So good. Like the 80s cop like music, other than, say, Axel in F by Harold Faltermeyer.
Okay.
But so they basically what they did is they took that score and they wrote a song to it. Yeah. Basically, and it's just this really good song. It's a solid tune, and I've been singing it in my head all morning long. I thought we had it here. I was sure we did, but we don't.
In the library?
That's right.
Why would you think we'd have that?
Because I added it.
Oh,
a long time ago, and apparently someone didn't think it was great, so it didn't happen.
Well, I didn't delete it.
I know. So I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
What's an earworm? An earworm for you. An earworm is like a song that you can't get out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, any song can really be an earworm. If it just
That's
catches
right.
you for the right
Yeah,
reason.
for whatever reason, Sting from 1993 caught me this morning.
Yeah.
Or
Oddly enough,
1998.
one that is a reoccurring one for me is the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme music.
Oh, of course. Like anything anything that happens awkwardly. Yeah. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's
That's fantastic.
yeah, I don't know why. It just gets caught in my head from time to time.
Yeah, well, of course.
It's usually TV theme songs for
Okay.
me.
Yeah, yeah.
They get caught in my head.
Like Family Matters?
Not so much Family Matters, no.
It's a rare condition.
I mean, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air,
Read any good news on a newspaper page. Love and tradition.
All right. That's and then the Full House one that sounds exactly
Oh,
like
yeah. Yeah, the Full House one.
Days go by. I think it's the same person that sings those two songs. Yeah. And then
And,
the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song, of course.
King of the Hill one, once in a while.
King of the Hill. All right.
Slapped in there. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
When the weight of the world has got you down and you want to end your life.
That's an ultimate pick-me-up song.
It's
You know?
that, yeah. Bills to pay, a dead-end job, and problems with a wife. But don't throw in the towel, 'cause there's a place right down the block where you can drink your miseries away. At Flaming Moe's, let's all go to Flaming Liquor in a mug. We'll warm you like a hug, and happiness is just a Flaming Moe away. Oh, yeah.
Happiness, just a flaming Moe away.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Beautiful.
Very good. Very nice. So that's, yeah, well, hopefully that put it in someone's
That's your
head.
earworm for the rest of the day.
There you go. I
There
hope
you go.
hope you're singing that to yourself for the rest of the day.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast where we cut out all the great music and you're left with the rest.
Lecter, have you ever had a boss embarrass you?
Never.
Really?
No.
Never.
No.
Oh, you've always been a good employee.
Oh, the best.
Oh, the best employee.
Or at least sneaky enough to slip it by them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, always slipping one by.
Why do you ask, Jesse?
Well, because John Tortorella,
Yeah.
always known for being pretty straightforward.
Straight shooter.
Yeah, no poop. Well, in this case, in this instance, maybe a little bit, but always good for a quote, always good for a sound bite.
Yep.
And the other night, last night, he was talking about Artemi Panarin, who
Yes.
plays for his Columbus Blue Jackets,
Uh-huh.
and why he was out of the lineup against the Montreal Canadiens last night.
Right.
And because there's he's one of the top trade guys. He's like on top of the list for the trade bait. The trade deadline's coming up on Monday, so a lot of rumor around him whether or not he's going to move.
Yeah.
So he's out of the lineup. So everyone's asking Torts,
And fair enough.
what's going on?
You know, you're going into a big game still as you're heading into the stretch towards the playoffs. You would think with a team like Columbus, who is right in the race, you would have your best lineup put forward. So
right.
when your arguably best player is not in the lineup, there's bound to be speculation.
Speculation and a retort from Torts.
He's sick. He's sick as a dog. Yes, he's very sick. That's why he's out.
Very nice. Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him last night. Today, I was told he's sick, not eating, he's puking. You want me to go into the whole tire trad as far as what happened today with him?
Tire tread.
So we can get that speculation done with as far as that he's going to be moved? He shit his pants, he was puking, he was doing everything. So, enough.
And I did notice that he said, do you want to go into the whole tire tread of what happened? And
I think he meant to say diatribe.
diatribe,
maybe.
but he said tire tread.
Yeah.
I
Kind
think.
of muddled his words a bit there.
And it kind of foreshadowed. what
You
he
know,
was
the
about to
amazing
talk
thing,
about.
the amazing thing in the history of John Tortorella in the NHL is that was really
Pretty measured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty mellow as
Yeah,
far
yeah.
as John Tortorella and his history goes. If you want to watch some entertaining YouTube material, just look up the best of John Tortorella or John Tortorella quotes
Yeah.
to the media. There was this whole, a few years ago when he was the coach of the New York Rangers, there was this ongoing saga with Larry Brooks, who's been a long-time reporter for the New York Rangers.
I guess that's what I mean, Brooksy.
And they would almost get into a fist fight almost like
absolutely.
every press conference.
Absolutely. So good.
I think the best had to be, though, when Tortorella was out of work for a year or two, and he was
Yeah.
on the TSN panel.
That's right.
And he was just always worth watching.
Yeah.
TSN for years has had, as you get to playoff time, they've had this character that they come on, this reoccurring character called Maggie the Monkey.
Yes. Who predicts the winners.
Who's going to win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And John Tortorella, for some reason, hated Maggie the Monkey.
Oh, yeah.
He also hated the quiz. He just basically hated everything about TSN's
Well, the quiz
program.
is useless. The quiz is useless because they ask them a question and then they give their opinion. It's like, that's not a quiz at all.
It was the best, though. That was such good watching. But yeah, he's actually kind of he's mellowed out a bit in his later years.
I love that. I just love how honest he is. You want me to go into it? Yeah, he pooped his pants.
Yeah,
that's what happened. And Artemi's at home like, come on! I wanted to play tonight.
Straight shooter.
That's right.
What can you say?
Shooter. Straight poop from Torts. But yeah, so you've never had a boss embarrass you?
No, and I mean, if I was Artemi Panarin, I don't know if I'd be embarrassed by that per se.
I suppose.
You know,
but I mean, you never like to be put on Front Street when you lose control of your bowels.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I don't know if he was literally doing that.
He probably did.
Maybe.
Probably did.
Maybe, yeah.
Absolutely.
You never know.
When you get the flu, man,
never know how bad it got.
You never know what's going to happen.
No, Tortorella, he can't help it. He speaks the truth.
That's right. That's right. The only boss who's ever embarrassed me is Ollie, and he is gone.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca.